Okay, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 1, The Hedge Knight. I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. It met my expectations, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to go through 10 reasons, 10 things I liked about it. So, number one is the tone. Imagine the comparison like this: there's Lord of the Rings, and then you've got The Hobbit, and then you've got The Song of Ice and Fire, and The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So this is in the same universe, but it's the not quite so serious cousin. It's a little bit more whimsical. I guess towards the end of the story it won't be so whimsical, but right now it approaches the universe from a completely different social angle. I think the adaptation nails this tone perfectly. Number two, the opening scene. There's a really nice mix of pathos and humour. Peter Claffey plays it really nicely. He clearly cared for Sir Arlan, despite the fact that he smacked him around a bit. But it's also quite funny as well, because he smacked him around a bit and he still feels quite resentful about that. So really manages those two sides of the character's feelings quite expertly, I think. Number three, the humour. It's really funny, and funny in the right way. Perhaps Dunk bumps his head one too many times, but it's funny in a way that many TV shows and movies have completely failed at humour. They've completely sort of, like that Marvel humour where everything just gets pushed too far. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms avoids those mistakes. It balances it, again, very well. It's like both the writer and the characters themselves can see the funny side of what's happening. And number four, the range of characters. Number four, I'm going to talk about the innkeeper. She obviously feels free to speak her mind, even though there's a prince of the realm staying in her inn. She says something like, "I never knew a joust change the price of eggs." She doesn't really care about the tournament at all. She's not bought in to the idea of knightly virtues. So maybe we're going to see a different side of Westeros. We're going to hear the voice of the lower classes, not just when they're protesting, not just when they're hungry and rioting, but we'll see them in other ways as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Number five, another character from the small folk, the master of the games. I like how he makes fun of Dunk, but then he decides to help him out. He has some sympathy for him as well. I love the joke about the Ashford chair. Number six, I really enjoyed the music. So this is not Ramin Djawadi. I really like Ramin Djawadi's work, not only on Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Westworld and stuff like this, but in terms of creating a different tone, having a different composer fits the change. There's a really interesting mix of style. At one point, it even sounds a bit like an American Western as you're watching Dunk walk in on his horses. So the music, not as immediately fantastic as Game of Thrones music, but they're trying to do something different, as they should be, according to the source material. So I'm interested to see how the music evolves. Number seven is The Ladies of the Night. I think the way they talk about Dunk is quite rude, quite dehumanizing. They call him it. But why I've chosen this as a strength is Dunk calls them out specifically on what they're doing. He says, I'm just looking for some help, and they apologize, and then they're nice to him. So I liked how that kind of mini story arc, Dunk manages to kind of win them round a little bit to see him as a person that they should help. Number eight is a more general strength, is the lower stakes. Not everything is so high stakes as House of the Dragon, as Game of Thrones is. Everything feels like, oh my god, it's all a matter of life and death. This episode didn't feel like that. It's just an everyday thing. I mean, you don't have tournaments every day, but they're quite a common thing. It's kind of a relief, I thought, that it's a lower stakes event that we're seeing in Westeros. It's not about the battle for the throne or a physical battle. It's just people living their lives and dealing with people on the same social level as them and dealing with people above and below them in the social hierarchy. Number 9 kind of develops that point. Lyonel Baratheon. So Mark Addy has kind of set the tone for the Baratheons. They're kind of big and burly. They enjoy fighting. They enjoy food and drink and women. And this Baratheon certainly fits into that in more of the fun-loving aspects. He's not physically as big as Robert Baratheon in the actor that we saw playing a Baratheon in House of the Dragon, but he does feel like he belongs to the family. And I like the little conversation that he has with Dunk. There's definitely something of the lust for life of Mark Addy in this Lyonel Baratheon. So I really like that. And finally, number 10, the references to Game of Thrones. So there's just a couple. So when the Master of the Games talks about the Ashford chair, he says, we're in the Reach, we're not in the Riverlands. Obviously, the Riverlands in Game of Thrones, in House of the Dragon as well, it looks like is going to be the scene of some horrendous battles. So that was a nice reference to existing material. Also, one of the Fossoways calls Dunk half man, as in half man, half giant. And half man was obviously Tyrion Lannister's nickname in Game of Thrones. So a couple of little references to the previous series, but not self-indulgent, just a little bit, just to have fun, to be playful. So overall, yeah, I would say this was a playful episode. I'd say my favourite performance was probably Peter Claffey. I love how he just keeps going. Dunk just keeps going despite all the problems. He refuses to just give up. I would say that overall, this doesn't grab me in the way that the pilot of Game of Thrones grabbed me. But that's the point. It's a different thing, and I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of it. Thanks for watching.